No, we made it in the end, Flavia. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Basically, I wanted to bring the two of you together because for our graduate sort of scheme that we're trying to do this year, I wanted to bring together people, not always from same backgrounds, sometimes similar. And for this one, actually, I wanted to get someone that wasn't a student or isn't a student now, just because I think, it provides kind of an interesting insight. I mean, Daniel, I don't know what you've done in terms of have you worked, or did you go straight into university after school? What path have you been on?
I almost finished my BA in the US studying different subject, and then I came back, just did art for like a year or two, and then I came for art BA. So like I've had some had maybe 5 years after high school.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what were you doing for your BA in the US?
I was studying the history, American history.
But did you just want to do something more artistic, or?
I had my minor. I was studying my art as a minor, and or was it double major? I don't remember. So, but the thing is that school there was like studying there. Picasso was the latest news, Very like small school, in the middle of Oklahoma, where people don't understand what art is, or they don't have a conversation around art, and for them it's just kind of painting pictures of cowboys and their family.
And then at Central St. Martin's, you studied fine art?
Yeah, fine art. Fine art, painting.
Okay. And Flavia, if you want to tell us a little bit about you.
I actually, I'm graduated at R.U.F.A University of Fine Arts in photography. I graduated in February, actually, just before the coronavirus in Italy. In fact, it was like it's very the ceremony was very restrict. There were a lot of restrictions, but I made it. I mean, I didn't have to do the ceremony via Skype, so I was kind of happy because of it. And then it started a quarantine, so I was it was actually a good I don't know how to say it, but I spent 3 years in my academy very fast. It was very fast, and actually I worked a lot outside the school. I tried to find my identity, my artistic identity outside the school. So I start to portrait people, and then I start to try the analog photography, and right now I'm experimenting darkroom. So I'm doing some experiment in my darkroom, and yeah, actually coronavirus helped me a bit because this time of quarantine gave me the time to reflect on what I want to do, and which is my color palette. I mean, I want to explore more my analogic feature with the darkroom. So I try to do print with color print, black and white print, and sometimes I do experiment. And this is my little 3 years of education in fine arts.
I didn't realize you graduated so soon. I thought you graduated a little while ago. So that's actually probably better that you had it quite soon. I mean, you're a bit luckier than Daniel. Before you joined, we were sort of talking about how Daniel sort of got wasn't able to do his degree show. But we were also saying that what positives have come from coronavirus, i.e., what it has forced you to think about, what you might want to do. And it's interesting you mentioned there how it's helped you develop as an artist, and you've actually seen a bit of a positive, even though it's been so negative.
And I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree with Flavia, because like I had maybe 4 shows lined up for this time, and I didn't have a show. I hadn't had a show for like maybe a year and a half, and everything was lined up for these 2-3 months. And first, of course, you're disappointed and stuff, or like you like you don't like it, and then at some point I realized that I started working on stuff that actually interested me all the time, but I felt like I didn't have time to actually sit and develop it,
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of became this time that you don't feel like you're stuck, because everyone is stuck. So so you just say to yourself, I might as well do the thing that I wanted to do from the beginning. And I mean, to me, I think like every good artist lives as if he's stuck in the quarantine, like because you just have to pay attention to your own thoughts, and that's what quarantine brought at least me to the point of doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have you guys missed the opportunity though to, I don't know, especially in a university environment, you get opportunity to see other people's work. You can often like sort of bounce off other people, and get inspiration from each other. Have you found that difficult, or are you more focused on your own, like Daniel just said, your own sort of inner thoughts?
Actually, I like to scroll a lot on Instagram and try to see what is going on the other platform, or on the other profile. I mean, and I'm very curious about the trend, the fashion of that moment. So every day I try to scroll and to see what's going on, and then I stop. I think about my work, and I think about what I want to do, and what kind of things I have to do to be to be published on some magazines, or to reach a definite a really specific art. I want to see what other people do, just because I want to be another kind of work. I want to be different from them. I don't want to copy. I just want to admire their work, but I want to be different. So quarantine, yes, stuck me in Instagram more than before, but I realized that my scrolling is what I want to do when I want to be different from them. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, I understand that. Daniel, are you similar in that way?
I don't have. I mean, I don't do my own Instagram, and I don't have a phone, so I'm a bit isolated from the Instagram life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it hard? Because back, so in the period we're in now, in not even just an artistic sense, in media, in television, film, photography, like so many different ways, it's almost becoming harder and harder to find your own identity and niche, because there's so much out there now. There's so many people, and everyone's trying to do that as well. Does that come? Do you have to just have faith in yourself and that you have a vision, or?
No, I don't think you need to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in what you make. Because whatever you make, you find it valuable for some reason, and you might even know exact reasons at some point, but you feel like there's something going on that's very valuable to you, and you spend your lifetime just doing that. I mean, like everyone. I mean, again, I'm talking more about painting specifically, because that's my sphere, right? And and you know, if in fashion or in I don't know how much in photography, but like let's say fashion photography or even magazines, it's a lot about the response. It's a lot about what you give, and you have like something thrown back at you. Like you get feedback, and in painting, it's not necessarily that. I remember I don't know if you guys watched the movie Basquiat, made by Julian Schnabel, and there's a point when Basquiat comes to the character of Julian Schnabel, and he says, you know, Warhol, they just wrote that I'm just a puppet of Warhol. They don't understand, or, you know, blah, 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 blah. And Julian, hey, stop. What are you talking about? Forget about it. Your audience wasn't even born yet. You know, so like when you make, you try to think of, you know, in that way, or at least I do, you know, that maybe what I make, it doesn't need to get an instant response. It's fine staying in the flat. And when somebody, you know, when somebody sees it, I love how Julian Schnabel said it again. He said, basically you make the work for yourself. And if somebody else likes it, it's a coincidence. You know, so anybody who likes the work, you know, you're just surprised, but you never would make for them to like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's true in anything. You know, and at least at the end of the day, if you have that attitude and you don't get this huge success and you're not the most popular, at least you within yourself, you know, you have comfort in the fact that you did it for you and you did it for the right reasons. I mean, personally, at the minute, I'm on sort of quite an interesting journey in my life. I'm doing things like stand-up comedy and sketch comedy. And a part of that for me was making sure I did stuff that I found funny and that I enjoyed, and then hopefully other people can as well, because I don't want to be one of those people that puts out loads of work and you look back at it and your head in your hands, you're like, what? Why did I do that? Or why was I just trying to be that kind of person? Because I think you actually probably end up hating yourself.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It's probably a bit different in that like I am looking for like a more instant validation.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're a comedian, like I love, you know, listening to Seinfeld, to how he treats comedy, and I love how he says, you know, when he was on Norm Macdonald podcast, he says, like, I admire those people who find something funny, and they will go and make sure that other people get communicated that funny to them. You know what I mean? So it's you're not even looking for approval as a comedian. I would say you're looking for this instant reaction where a person starts, you know, when a person's body starts, you know, shaking. That's what you're looking for, and this is what you're looking in painting too. You're looking like for something that will instantly be sticking to you, you know, something that you will make you like, whoa, you know. But validation is different, because validation is about looking for something that people will look at it and think, oh, he's a good guy, you know. And as a comedian, I don't think that's what you're looking for, you know.
No, I don't want to be a good guy. In that sense.
As a comedian, you have to be funny. Same as an artist, you just have to be good. You have to make good art. That's all what's required of you, you know.
Yeah, it's almost separate. Being a good person is almost, you know, it's a separate thing that you should probably just do anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're just pandering, yeah, that's what I meant in terms of like, I don't want to make stuff that I know people will be like, oh, what a great guy. Like,
Exactly.
I just, you know, and also with your art and with anything you create, it's also, I think people sometimes forget that these are different aspects of your life, right? So like, you can have something where that was just one moment of your life or one period, and it doesn't define you necessarily. I mean, Flavia, we've known you for a while through your work, and it's been nice to see it sort of change over the course of we've seen your stuff for about 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
You find
It's
yourself
like I started with the some sketches on my photograph, and then I start to be more clean. I mean, I like to work on collages, but I also like to be more clear. I mean, I want to be equilibrate. And can I say it? I don't know if it's a word. I want to find the equilibrium between the light and the subject right now, but I still do my colleges. I mean, I my thesis was like a book about the colleges, so the develop of my artworks, it's changed, but I can still find the the first Flavia, the first Flavia that actually sent you those images that I sent you 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm. Yeah, it's nice to see. So it's interesting that you still. I mean, do you see yourself going back to stuff, or because with stuff I do, I'm very much I like to put sort of close a chapter on things and start again. That's actually been something that's annoyed me over the last few years, where I felt like I've had, it's still niggling away. Is it in my mind something? I like to move on and have quite a clean break. Is that not something you like then? You like to go back?
I really like to actually do the like colleges or something very uncommon for myself. I mean, I think it's like that kind of works for me. I mean, it's like to be represented by that works. But I feel that since I'm a fashion photographer, I have to show myself, I have to show my works in another way, because the public, the committants want to see that. I mean, the kind of work that I want to show in an exhibition is my personal work, and is like the collages and the scratches on the photos and a lot of experiment on the photos. But what I want to show to the public, or the clients, the possibility clients, are those kind of equilibrated photos that are clean and perfect and like steady, and yeah, the color is perfect, and yeah, there are all the shades perfect, but the work that I sent you was like intimate. I don't know if I was
Yeah, no,
clear.
I know what you mean. Is that something that you feel as well, Daniel? Do you feel that you're kind of split sometimes between what maybe you think people should see about you?
Absolutely. I mean, when like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was putting up works online, and I felt like that was quite hurting. Because you start thinking of yourself as a kind of career based person, or like you, you start thinking of your life, or the image of your life, as some kind of linear career growth, but in fact that's not what life is, and none of us are actually there, like none of us live like that. Today you want to eat eggs, tomorrow you want to eat avocado, or
Mm.
it's it's just something that kind of signaturization, it's something that is very hurting to artists. um and yeah, I know that I've been in that kind of pit, and it's been blocking me from developing my work again, because I think where it puts you is that you start thinking of yourself more than you think about your work, because when you think of your work, you will do anything. You will change whatever style in order for that work to become good. And when you think of yourself, you start putting everything into a certain style, because it's a Daniel Spivakov painting, because it's and I think it just ruins talent.
Mm. That's also feeds into, like, from a comedic standpoint as well. You want to do, and it's same with musicians. They must always have it. you always have bands that just do the same thing every year, and they like fizzle out, because you're like, well, I heard that again. But then when those bands maybe change themselves,
Yeah,
some of their fans then get angry, and it's that
exactly. Yeah.
that actually pisses me off so much, because you think a band that's been famous over 10 years, do you
Yeah.
not think these people are going to change? Think about the two of you 5 years ago. You're not
Yeah.
not the same person, and your work is not going to reflect that. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I'm also. I mean, I still haven't made up my mind about. Or okay, I will say I just don't like artists putting themselves right away, and this is what art university really pushes you to do that. They push you to become a post-colonial artist, a feminist artist, activist art, and then you right away from the time when you're still in uni, when nobody kind of buys your work, you don't even have any commitments, but even at that point you start thinking of yourself as an artist. You start thinking as of a certain genre artist. I'm like, um, it, you put yourself in a box that you will really, it will be really hard to get out of for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think, like, if you want your work to be something that's relatable to yourself, then I don't see a reason to kind of, put it in a specific discourse right away, and saying, no, this is the discourse I'm interested in, and I'm just gonna follow that. I mean, if you think of Picasso, like, he would paint just blue for 3 years, and probably he would think to himself, well, I'm painting blue, I'm the guy who paints in blue. And then he would just change to something else, and then to something else, and then to something else, and that's what makes his work relatable to us all, because it's relatable to how life happens to us, and not just to a specific thinking sphere.
Yeah, that's really valuable, and I think that I've never thought of it like that, but it is because I think it happens in for a lot of students, not just at creative universities. For example, I have quite a few friends that did law, and they're like lawyers now, and they didn't like it, and they were actually warned by people that worked there, who now earn too much money for being a lawyer. So if you don't like it, get out now, because you're going to get stuck as this lawyer. And if you like being active, for example, one of my friends is now joining the army, which was a big jump. I was like, whoa, but I was like, if you like that, adventure and do it. Whereas, I think a lot of people, and it's such a shame for universities. Do you think that's because they have to grade stuff in some way? I don't know. There's a criteria.
It's one of the reasons, yeah, I would say, because now you can basically say, like, you can, like, it's not a painting, it's not a sculpture, it's an installation, it's a performance, and you're like, so how do we grade it? Okay, so you ask probably like a student, so what was your intention? And yeah, I think but it also has to do with a certain with the institution. I really don't believe in institutional art. Because as soon as art becomes institutional, it's dead, and you have to get out of it. I mean, the art itself might not be dead, but the artists who keep themselves in the institutions, it's just desire of institutions to kind of put a mark on you, like to say you're an identity artist, and institutions have to do it because, well, they're institutions, they have nothing else to do.
Do you think this coronavirus will? Because I had a conversation with my friend who's an artist right at the start of coronavirus, and he said, I wish the whole thing gets destroyed, the whole art community gets destroyed, and then we can begin to rebuild it in the way. Because it's like with the galleries, say in London, and there's probably the same in Italy, or around the world. There's those institutional buildings that they basically choose which art is relevant in a way.
Yeah,
and it's been done in a certain way.
And they choose it just for a good article in a Guardian. They don't even choose it because people actually like that type of art. They just think, we're gonna get some press, or I don't even know. Like, we probably will get some trustees on our board.
Yeah,
and
it's
all right. People.
That's why the graduate shows didn't happen, because universities generally bring in like a broad range of people, international students.
Mhm.
So degree shows are actually quite an honest representation of a range of styles, and it's not based on class. I mean, to an extent, it's class, like the same as the broader class but struggle, but it actually brings in people with very individual ideas, and that's one of the few places I think where you can have that. I mean, Flavia, did you have a final year show, like a degree show for your work?
No, actually, I had just a commission of professors that judged my work, so I don't have to show my work, my thesis. Actually, it was like very aseptic. Was like it was like an exam because you bring your thesis, your written text with all your theses, and then the project, but nobody can see you. I mean if you want to invite your friends to see it, it's okay, it's totally okay, but there is an exhibition, like I don't know how it works in UK. I think it's all a little bit different, but especially in fine arts academy, I guess. And but in Italy, we used to have like an exam where you have the professors in front of you and you explain your project and your thesis, and then they give you the vote. That's it. Yeah, it's really like it's really quick. I did it in 20 minutes, and it was like, oh my God, I just prepared my thesis for 4 months, and I have to explain it in 20 minutes.
Is it marked by people that know you and like your professors, or is it just new people?
Yeah, there were some three professors that actually followed me during my academy during their years, and then two professors that were like external, were not of the course, so they judge like, yeah.
I would like to hear more about the Italian Academy, because I have quite a bit of friends who are also photographers and who studied there. I heard that it's very harsh, that like they really bend you there in a way.
I actually I have a lot of things to learn there, but I learned more outside the school because they give you just a pitch of the outside world, and then I mean they teach you things that you already know as a photographer, as a beginner, like the light and I mean these kind of things. But some courses like aesthetic, it was philosophy to linked to image, was really really cool, and also the history of cinema. This kind of stuffs were actually the courses that I liked too much, because there were a lot of philosophy, and it taught me a lot about my how I have to explain my artistic identity. So how I have to follow my ideas, and how I have to explain like is art history, and it was like very philosophy. It wasn't like when you school it, when you learn it at high school, and you learn it like, yeah, there was like the Renaissance, and then there was Leonardo da Vinci, and you start to study you start to see the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci. It was like more about their artistic thoughts. So they start to teach about the philosophy behind the heart, and it was like perfect. But
That's
about the technique, it was like no.
Yeah, it's interesting because in CSM, for example, they don't teach you. I mean, if you can learn, you can sign up for workshops, but
Hmm.
they not mandatory to learn any technique. Like you can just be sitting thinking, and that's going to be art.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Do you have classes? Like, yeah, how long was your course?
3 years, but I skipped foundation year. So yeah, apart from foundation year, 3 years, and then you just have like maybe weekly lectures where they give you kind of overall nuggets of recent contemporary art. You don't study anything like before Second World War, I think. Um, and then you have certain workshops, and basically the whole course is based on you making the work, your work. You don't get assigned to make any work, sometimes, but anyway, you make your work, and then you conversate about it in your group crits and with your tutor, one-to-one crits.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's interesting because it's kind of like I didn't see it as valuable as maybe I see it now, because I realized that just being there and just having a conversation with seeing other people's work, having a conversation with them, trying to explain what you're about to do or what you want to do.
Hmm.
I think that's the most valuable part. Like the students are the teachers. That's kind of the idea that I got. At least.
Yeah, that's what everyone seems to say. I think that it's the same. You learn more from the people around you then.
Exactly.
Well, actually, I think that university is, especially fine arts academy, are really hard to understand when you're an artist because you feel like you have to accomplish that exam, you have to finish that course, you have to have a good how to say the vote, the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. You don't see how much is important to learn from what you have to study. I mean, the philosophy that I study, the aesthetic that I study, I study with the conscious the conscious that I have to learn about it. I don't have to do just an exam. I don't have to do like I don't have to be the best of my class. I just have to understand and to um, apply to myself. I have to do it. I have to do it in my life. I have to understand with the brain and with the heart, not just with the brain because I have to do this because it's like it's university and you have to study. You have to do it because it gives you something that you're gonna show maybe in a few years, but you're gonna show it. I think it's the hardest part of university. I don't know if.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to that kind of university. I did a politics degree, so mine was very academic. Um, so yeah, I didn't really have it like that. I don't know. I have issues with education as a whole in that respect, because within that side of education, I think there's still too much focus on getting like you say, a qualification, a grade, a number, um, when you didn't, especially in that you actually learn how to tick boxes. So the example I made was in school, you learn French, but you don't learn French, especially in the
Yeah.
UK. You learn how to memorize a certain thing or something like that, and same with other things. You learn it in this structure that doesn't actually enrich your life in many ways. So I think maybe with doing art in the way that you've done it, I don't know, at least you get that more hands-on physical approach. And then I suppose they have to give you a grade. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
It'd be more like a residency otherwise, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what are your thoughts moving on now from university? Obviously, it's the worst time to ask you guys because I don't know what anyone's going to do. Daniel, we'll start with you. Do you have any thoughts of what might be next, or?
I'm just looking for ways to keep making the work, and I don't see how continuing studying would be any helpful unless it's something. I was applying to R.U.F.A program. They're quite good because they have like very very small amount of people applying there, and you have a very kind of small community. Maybe next year. I have no idea. I'm really looking just for ways to stay in London and to keep talking to artists and keep making the work.
Where else would you go? Like, if it's not London, what's the other options in terms of?
Of course. I really don't think about it. I don't know. I really don't think about it.
No.
Like I'm in London now. I have a studio in Ukraine, so I switch between two. Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I definitely wouldn't go to Berlin.
I hope you stay in London because then I'm planning afterwards when people can start to meet up together again. I want to kind of do the people that have worked on this project. I want to bring some people together because I really like the idea of doing. People do those sort of days where they get a lot of artists together and you work on a piece of art for a day and then you kind of just throw it in the bin because it's more about the process of bringing different styles together. And I think that's really important with coronavirus. I think a lot of people have been forced to themselves. It could be quite a nice process of integrating back together. So
I'll do the barbecue as a piece.
Yeah, no, that'd be really good. No, I'll definitely get you involved. Flavia, what about you?
About where I will go right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't
yeah.
have to be with your art. It can be anything. You could, have a dream of buying 20 dogs, anything you want.
Right now, I would like to have my own studio, but in New York. But I think America is like very messed up right now. So I can dream I have to dream America for a little bit more. I really like New York, the vibes of New York. I liked so much London, and I want to come back soon because I went there 2 times last year. The past year actually, because I went there maybe in the summer of 2 years ago, and maybe Paris, but I'm not sure about them because right now I feel like I have to stay a bit here to increase my skills and to maybe focus on my photography, because I'm finding out that the coronavirus actually in a certain way destroy the rush time. I mean, the rush that you have, to give all the photos the day after, even if you shoot it with analog process. So coronavirus just freeze the time and give to the artists the time to reflect to their works. And I want to have a little bit of this, just a little bit more, maybe in August, because it's like vacation month, so I'm gonna be rest, and then I'm gonna think about my future, because actually it's really messed up. I had plans before coronavirus. I have to go maybe in Europe, like Paris, I said, but right now I don't know. We have to see it.
Yeah, it's hard to plan, isn't it? Because you don't know if you'll plan and there'll be a second wave, or everyone's got trust issues, right? Everyone's like, I don't want to commit to anything because the world's crazy. I mean, I was supposed to be traveling around Canada, and that hasn't happened. So, what can you do? We'll have to continue being friends on here for now.
Also, I wanted to say that next time, if we're gonna have a conversation, let's talk more about comedy,
Yeah.
Love that, because I feel like comedy is like art, except art is, it just operates on the level of like hundreds of years. You just like translating it, to art. You basically have to make people laugh into 100 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. That you mentioned Jerry Seinfeld. Actually, I love the show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
Yeah, because it's just comedians talking about their process and stuff. And comedy, although people don't think about it in this way a lot, it's actually very similar. Like comedians often have kind of a connection with artists, musicians, in a way that you wouldn't straight away. I mean, for example, Monty Python, I'm a big Monty Python fan, and they were sort of involved with George Harrison, like all these crazy people, in the 70s and stuff. And they're all hanging out together. That's like my dream era. I want to go and be with them.
Yeah.
And
what we have in common as artists and comedians, as Seinfeld said, would you rather, on some podcast, he said, would you rather have a yacht or a surfboard? Guy goes, yacht, I guess. He's like, are you kidding me? Surfboard.
Yeah.
Because you want the freedom of doing what you need to be doing, And I kind of I guess relate to that, and I think all artists could.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I'm more than happy to talk to you whenever you want, Daniel. Call me anytime, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about.
Great.
Same with you, Flavia. Thank you so much, both of you. This has been
Thank
awesome.
you too.
I'll put this online soon, and I'll also put on, I think, a little bit about your work and maybe some images, just so people know who you are.
Yeah, of course.
And maybe I can send you some other works.
Yeah. If you guys, I want to represent you both in the best way you want to be represented. So, send me a bit of information or photos, anything you want, and I'll do what I can.
It's been great. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
You.
I'll speak to you both soon.
Yes. Bye.
All right, see ya.